Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Oh, thy peace, the God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rub and cheat, and not press the poor. Make God what I seen him. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see they didn't can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see they didn't can sell out Rasta and sell out and sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the right. You might throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black baby man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black? Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
From amongst the rubble that is our community at the moment, we certain will rise and thrive again for the main purpose that we have survived the worst we have ever experienced in our history. Parity and the rest of Jamaica will rise again from the rubble that surround us. But are we getting enough assistance from government? And does government care enough? Good morning. Welcome to Global TV. Thank you all for joining us this morning right here on the group. We couldn't come out here last night. Just thinking about my community, the old blood pressure just went whoopsie daisy, and I just have to block out everything. Morning, everyone. Morning and welcome. Honodo. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Global TV. Thank you all for joining us this morning. To my community of parity and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome. I know some of you are going to be wind up and screwed up like, when you're open can't be if you keep winding up that key. Because I'm going to be analyzing and we're going to be viewing a lot of what the Prime Minister says yesterday. I know that some of you don't want to hear the Prime Minister, but it is rather important that we listen to the Prime Minister in this scenario, given what we are going through. And we're going to remind us as well that St. Anne's Municipal Corporation have people drinking dead rat and dead bullfrog water. And we're going to ask Mr. Holness some questions. The people of parity, Mr. Holness, are asking what happened to them. If you don't hear about them, if you don't want to consider them, and are you supporting Flight Green enough? The community is asking. Are you going to come and visit them to see the desecration and disaster around them, Prime Minister? The people of party are also asking for counseling. Ministry of Health, Dr. Tufton, can between you and Floyd Green and your ministry arrange something? If there's any psychologist, psychotherapist, psychiatrist out there who can assist our community with counseling, can you assist us? And we're also going to ask you if you can volunteer to assist us with the cleanup campaign of our community, because a lot we will have to do for ourselves. So, morning, everybody. Real sweet. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Pamela Akola, David Jarvis TV, Sheena Kelly, Desroy Stanley. Morning. Annie Jones, Sophia Hall, Lynette Jenkins, Suzette Williams. Good morning, Arlene Scott. Good morning. Joan Pine, Maxine Cummins. Good morning. Who is there? Morning, everybody. Morning. Elijah B. Good morning. Morning and welcome, everyone. Let us go to the party cleanup campaign first. We're asking for volunteers to assist us. Those who can assist us. It's a massive task in the community of parity. We lie in ruins and rubbles at the moment. And we are seeking for your assistance to assist us on our cleanup day on the 30th of this month, November. We will have to start moving a lot of the debris from around us. Despite the desecration, we want to bring back whatever level of normalcy or understanding to our community. So the Cleanup Day campaign for Parity District St. Elizabeth is on Sunday, the 30th of November. Volunteers meeting point will be at Myrna Shop. This is Cousin Myrna, who is always on her live here, because this is organized by one of her son, and the rest and the broader community, things that you can bring, Zenet Beckford Morning, to the cleanup campaign to support us is to bring your water boot, bring gloves, mosquito repellent, sunscreen, and more than all, positive vibes and positive energy and positive vibes. There is also on the pamphlet, if you screenshot it, a volunteer form that you can fill out at volunteer sign up, https:// forward/VYKKJJE7. And that's where you can sign up to volunteer with us. If you screenshot the form, whether be you are near to our vicinity, or if you see this live in the after recording and you want to assist us, you can sign up for the volunteer to help us. If you also are interested to assist us and you want to contact the community or contact those of my family member and the community who are dealing with the cleanup, who are organizing the cleanup, you can also contact me. My numbers are here on screen, and I can also put you in touch with my community. Let me rather do it the other way, where I beg your pardon. So we're asking for your assistance. It will be quite a task for us, and whatever help and assistance we can get in Party Marcia Thomas, Mazat Control Morning, whatever assistance we can get in parity to do or clean up, to just clean away some of the debris from around us while we look at ways to patch up our destruction. So we are asking for your assistance. If you can, please come out on the 30th of November to assist us at Parity Seaside to help us to clean up the community. And the meeting point will be at Myrna Shop, right on the front there, not far from where you see that big old creek is that separates the road and cut off the community. So come out and help us if you can. To the government, the people of Parity are asking for counseling. Despite we have saved lives, which is the most important thing to allow us to thrive and build back again, people have lost an awful lot. People need counseling. Sophie Duncan Morning. People need counseling. People need to feel reassured and that their attention is being given some level of priority. We know say no we want. We know say no we want a parity mashup. We not say so. But Prime Minister them ask how you no go look upon them. They say you come as close as Black River and you never even go look upon the destruction what happened to them. And if there's any point, Prime Minister, where you're going to come and look at the destruction satisfaction in our community. And the community is of the view that Floyd Green is not getting the assistance given what is going on in the community, Carla Williams. They don't think Floyd Green, Prime Minister, is getting, Joan Bailey, enough assistance from central government to focus on the dire need that we have in our community. And them also said, and I know them all want to say, Prime Minister, they say flour and cornmeal every day. I mean, it's a help, but I say, boy, we are going through it. Before we go to the Prime Minister, we ought to go to the PACC committee, because the Appropriations Committee sat yesterday. The Public Administration and Appropriations Committee sat yesterday, and the head of ADPEM was taking questions, and I'm not sure if he's got a hand on things, particularly to the questions asked of him by Damian Crawford. Let me pause this on, because Damian Crawford questions me really interested in. But I don't see where he demonstrated that he's on top of things. I really, maybe my ears isn't too well with listening to politicians, but I'm not sure that Mr. Mande from the army quite have a grip on things. And this is why the united front from the government, the opposition, and everybody is needed, because everybody see and understand things differently. And somebody where you may don't think have a good idea, you might just can listen to them and look into their input. But I don't know if I get much understanding from him that he really is in control of all of what is going on.
I know thus far we would have done approximately between all the ministries around about almost 20% in terms of damaged dwellings. The team is now looking at how to at least 3x the rate at which we are going. So what 2 weeks we have done about 20% of the damage assessments. So we're hoping now, as we get into it, without making too much of a promise, to, by the middle of next month, be able to complete at least 80% of our damage assessments in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 areas of damage, as we have assessed by other means, whether that be AI, satellite technology, or some spotted on-the-ground verifications. As we look at it, we do believe we could be able to do those in about 3 weeks. Once we have those, then the other robust parts of the other plans, we'll be able to timeline those in a real.
Globalists, let me say this to you all. I'm very disappointed in the lack of support from you all. All I ask for is that you just hit the like button for my program. I'm very, very disappointed in most of you all.
Robust way, having had the finer details, so we can put those mechanisms together. So as it concerns, so we're looking at the matters concerning the rollout of the loans of generators to small businesses to bring them back online. Those matters will be treated within short order. This will also help us to treat with the moving to a bagless system, whether that be cash card, some form of cash token. So in about another 3 weeks, we should be able to achieve that. In terms of the matters of shelters, we have already, from the multiplicity of stores or hubs we have around, started to push those shelter repairs kit, heavy-duty tarpaulins out to the spokes or the humanitarian supply areas manned by the JDF. to get those deeper into the communities. That is already underway. So that matter will be treated with. As it concerns the matter of more robust sheltering, a lot of that will have to be built and then brought in. Shipments coming out of the east are upwards of 4 weeks. So
hold on there. I'm going to the part where I got born on first. I should have rub them 3 junk prayer first. Yeah, them 3 junk prayer. Cousin Myrna, welcome back to the program. Welcome back to the program, Cousin Myrna. Now, these 3 junkers on screen, the head of the opposition, the head of parliament, and the head of government, all of us were wondering on Tuesday. We were searching all over the place. What happens to Parliament? Parliament now keep a one, them cancel Parliament and all of that. Now the question is to you, the people of Jamaica, about these 3 dog shits on screen. Do you think, given what the nation undergoes at the moment, given the amount of business, urgent and critical business of the nation, do you think our parliament should have been cancelled to facilitate kicking a fucking ball from one direction to the other? That was the playing, ramping prioritized over the business of the nation, because they all have to go and sit down. I mean, if the people of Parity, of Westmoreland, of Trelawney, of parts of St. James and Manchester, if they could go and sit down and watch a football match or something to briefly take their mind away from the destruction, desecration, and debris around them. But these 3 powerful junkers in our system was better off letting their hair down, enjoying ramping, kicking a ball from one direction to another. That's all it was. I've been a Sarkodie. How you do? Kicking a ball from one direction. Because other than kicking a ball from one direction to the other, I don't understand football. Don't even watch the thing, because the noise that people make over it, that turns me off of it. But that was prioritized over the nation business on Tuesday. It is not important enough that Western Jamaica is lying in ruins and that we have to treat the business of the country expeditiously. No, not that. We have to ramp. Mark Golden, Juliet Holness, Andrew Holness, the head of the opposition, parliament, and government, were ramping on Tuesday, while the nation's business was set aside to facilitate ramping. Ramping. Yes, ramping. This is not even playing, because they refer to football as playing football. This was purely ramping, Prime Minister, leader of the opposition and leader of our parliament. This was ramping. Why was the business of the nation sacrificed? And Jamaicans, you must ask this question of these junkers. You hear me say, it's time now. This is what Melissa is saying to us. You silly fuckers, get out of the political tribalry and start thinking nationalism. Jamaica first. Jamaica first. Jamaica, not Mark Golden first, not Andrew Holness first, not JLP first, not PNP first. Jamaica first. Jamaica, we need to start thinking nationalists as nationalists. Because that's why Labour and PNP can put way aside on the back burner and went to enjoy a good old kickabout. A good old kickabout. While we lie in ruins, in shit, in dead animals, in infested water. Yes, sleeping in the elements. Yes. They were having a game of let us ramp. That is the thing them where we kill up ourselves over, say a politician, and they care about we, while they care about their enjoyment and their profit. A fool no politician them, on a walla walla over them when we cuss them and draw them.
Before we can start seeing more robot shelter in place, that's when we'll start seeing it in terms of getting the tarps on and also getting the galvanized zincs back onto roofs. Those will occur immediately for tarps, and as we get more assets pertaining to galvanized roofing, those will come in. Our partners are prepared to start moving from community to community to actually start putting roofs back on top of houses to the extent that those dwellings are able to receive those roofing.
Within days of the disaster, within days of the disaster, the Minister of Entertainment, Transgender and Sports and all of that had enough time on her hands that she could go around and arrange a song and dance, not just in Jamaica, in Britain, in America, in Canada, a song and dance in the interests of gathering Babsy retirement money. Yeah, a song and dance while we lie in rubbles and ruins, where the whole of them hear about parity, but none of them even have respect to turn up there with Flight Green. Flight Green, have they turned their back on you, Mr. Green? Mr. Green, have they turned their back on you?
So that's the kind of time that we're working with now, with the immediate shelter matters, and then moving on to the heavy duty or the upticking of the damage assessment so we can roll out more advanced programs and then getting into harder shelters.
You're finished your presentation. Those using chairman's prerogative. There is a concern, well, there's two concerns. One, we're a low trust society, and we've I guess relied a lot on, in the first phase, on people who are politicians, not necessarily MPs, but politicians of ministers, junior ministers, councillors, etc. And people seem to have more faith if the distribution was being done by, say, the JDF in some systematic way. And I've heard a lot of concerns that in this particular crisis, the JDF seem to have had a much...
Globalists, when I hit the like button, because I will cuss on it too, you know, and a politician alone, I will cuss on it too.
Less visible role anyway. I'm not saying they may not have had a role somewhere, but in terms of seeing them out in the disaster, in the hard-hit areas, and being very visible and being in the vanguard of the immediate relief distribution, the average person just didn't see that. And I have checked with all my colleagues, especially those in the West who were hard hit, and it really took a while for them to get a good JDF presence in their communities.
Oh,
And some of which,
Palwagwan.
I don't have to rehash it. Some were marooned, some had dead bodies, literally, that the residents had to start taking upon themselves to bury and so on. It just seemed, given that General Meade left the JDF at twice the size it was when I was there as minister, but yet, notwithstanding all the additional resources and manpower and budget and whatever, we didn't feel, or as to use your word, General, that the perception of the impact was just not there. Maybe you can say something about that one. And secondly, there is a concern that this is a concern around accountability, that there's hundreds of millions of dollars that have come in the first few weeks, probably. I don't know. I'm not getting a day-to-day tracking of it, but it's probably no billions in terms of relief given by private sector.
It's important that you listen to how the ADPEM lead answers these questions. I don't think he answers any question, but judge for yourselves.
Given by various relief agencies and global NGOs and other governments and so on. But where is the system to track all this and to bring some, not just dignity, but some order to how, and accountability to how this is being done? I saw a release from the Auditor General last week, I believe it was, saying that they usually come in after the fact and do an audit. 6 months later, you get a report. And they were now putting something in place to have an ongoing monitoring of that process. But it was just a very vague statement. There are global professionals who, for us, this is an overwhelming scale of disaster. But you have other countries that experience earthquake, floods, etc., that kill thousands of people and so on. So there are experts, whether at UN or other agencies, who have a lot more experience than we would have just by virtue of our size and our scale. Where could you just tell me how all this fits into the structure of the recovery efforts?
So, Chairman, let's start with the perception of the JDF presence. What I'll indicate is that once the blow had ended, JDF teams would have been deployed to get into spaces. I recall that we took almost 48 hours to be able to get into the Black River space, just based purely on the devastation which was around. So it wasn't for want of not being out there on the ground and trying to get into spaces, but just the general conditions on the ground that prevented us from being immediately in all those devastated spaces. Once we were able to get into certain locations, they would have started setting up, as I've done out in Luan and other spaces now, or centralized JDF hubs or forward operating bases so we can reach into the communities. So that would have accounted for some delay in getting on the ground. As it pertains to the matters concerning accountability, you are indeed correct. The Auditor General Department has commenced their real-time audit. Our first engagement with them from the department will be tomorrow. So those systems are in place. We have already submitted the relevant documentation, made the different meetings with them already to start that process. As it pertains to inventory management, there's an ongoing process now for disaster relief inventory management system. Last evening, we would have seen the first iteration of the product. This would encapsulate the entirety of the national stores across various ministries as it relates to disaster relief aid items coming in. The system will be full-fledged from receipt in our large stores until the last mile is how the system is designed. Once we should be able to roll that out onto our servers. The intent is before the end of the week. The team is feverishly working at that. At some point when the system is matured,
this is a system, a bespoke system that you're developing.
A bespoke
just
system for GOJ towards disaster relief inventory management.
So there are none of these systems, the United Nations or no other country have these systems that we
There are a few systems that do exist, Chairman.
Why is it, even after the recent burial, which was quite catastrophic as well, not as measurable as Melissa? Why is it that the review that came out of ADPEM then that the Prime Minister don't want to put out to the public, why is it these systems weren't designed during and after burial? Does this mean that we learned nothing from Hurricane Beryl? Go on, talk.
One of the things you might find is that based on how Jamaica is set up and how our mechanism is run, they have to plug in other models. There has to be some redevelopment of systems. So whilst they might have a general warehousing system, how it is desired for us to be most efficient, it is not set up in that way. And then you particularly also run the risk of, in the times when they pull out, maybe in a few months after when you want the iterations to be redeveloped and so on, you will tend to lose that support. There is significant homegrown talent, and we, having done it that way, we are assured of a full-fledged system with the necessary support going into many years hence. There's also an intent to, once the system reaches a particular level of maturity, to have a front-facing system to the public into that mechanism. So there will be that level of visibility from the public during the disaster itself. So we're looking to roll out that mechanism very soon, Chairman.
So, but that's an inventory system.
Inventory system. So when it comes to the management of cash,
no, there's the inventory, there's the goods, the supplies that are donated in
that
kind,
will also go
right?
into the inventory system.
There's the donations in cash.
Donations in cash.
And then there's the distribution to beneficiaries. So it's three different elements. You've described one system you're developing for inventory.
So minus the cash, the system will also enable us to query where as I indicated, the last mile of the distribution.
So it tracks it to the beneficiary.
Right to the last mile.
When you say the last mile, do you mean to the beneficiary?
Into the community.
So you will be able to identify the community that it ends up in, but not the household or the individual.
Future iterations of the software would be able to, as the system it gets mature, to be able to do things like that. But that requires other parts of government to work to enable that to be inputted into the system. But it will be a rolling development of the software to add as many modules as we wanted. Hence why we wanted to be able to have that system so bespoke that these considerations in future, near or far, could be added into the system. As it concerns the management of cash.
How long will I wait till me sit down and tell this government about designing bespoke system for the public service? Why am Melissa drag it out now? This Prime Minister was the one who told us that we are rapidly transforming to a technologized society. And we don't have bespoke systems for public bodies.
There's a fund committee that oversees all the donations coming in for cash, as it is now. The relevant.
How much time have I told you on this program that a lot of the administrative accounting in government still go on in a black book? Still go on pan hard copy invoice, paper, then still I write down things in a book and pan receipt? In today's day and age, public accounting in government? Bear with me. I don't know why it freezes, yes, so.
Concerning the management of cash, there is a fund committee that oversees all the donations coming in for cash, as it is now. The relevant assessments would have to be made in terms of required cash drawdowns, and that will have to be approved in every instance through the Ministry of Finance. So nothing is able to come out of those funds solely because the ODPEM desires for a spend to occur. So there are the financial records which exist.
So the fund committee is a Ministry of Finance committee?
It's headed by the finance committee. It is a committee of
government?
Of government, of council, yes. So there is that mechanism.
And these funds are both government funds and donated funds?
These are donated funds that I'm speaking of, which are then transferred to the NDF in the event that we need, and it is spent from that mechanism. As it concerns the matters of the funds from insurance and so on, those do not fall under the purview of the ODPEM. So we have no marginal oversight over it. Notwithstanding, it is then that the fund committee, I guess, if required, could lean on those funds.
So this fund committee that's distributing money from private sector, from aid agencies, there's no representative of the aid agencies or the private sector or anybody like that on this committee?
Not at the moment, but it allows for us to engraft persons into it to cause those to run efficiently.
All right. I see Mr. Crawford always is early off the marks. And then anybody else? That's it?
I want you to listen carefully to his answers to Damian Crawford's questions.
Well, others will come along, Chairman. Thank you very much, and thanks for the time and the effort and your contribution so far. Approximately how many communities have had major damage, and it can be reserved to the major parishes? Approximately how many communities do you have that information?
In terms of that damage, we are tracking 182 communities that would have suffered what we would consider Tier 1 and Tier 2 damage.
And
this is, as you said, this is restricted to the western parishes.
The geographic...
Just for remember, we're on PBCJ. Not everybody will understand what a Tier 1, Tier 2 damage is. So just break it down for...
So, Tier 1 damage is up to 50% of damage. So roof will be gone, roofing elements will be gone. Tier 1 is 65% over to include total loss of the building.
So these communities, you're saying Tier 1 is 50% of the roofs in the community has lifted?
Yeah.
And Tier 2 is 50% of the buildings are demolished?
No. So Tier 2 primarily is roof damage. Portions of the roof or all of the roof. Tier 1 is really all roof and the wall structures damaged.
All right. So Tier 1 is a higher level of damage than
Indeed.
Tier 2.
Yes.
All right, so 152 communities.
182 communities.
82. What is the geographic definition? Which definition of community are we using?
So right now we're using the SDC boundaries for communities.
SDC boundary. Okay. Because based on the definition and previous information with 152,000 buildings affected, major impact, then these communities would have 1,000, 2,000 units in the space based on the 50% damage, Tier 1, Tier 2. Enough houses in the space. They're not lanes. I'm trying to make sure the people understand that a community don't mean my lane, as we have often used a community. Is a fairly large space as a community. Okay. Approximately how many people have been major affected in these impacted areas? I'm speaking now to the 5 major parishes. Approximately how many people?
Have been impacted by some form of damage?
Major.
Major
that
damage.
will be categorized as major.
Tier 1 or Tier 2?
Right.
The figure escapes me wholeheartedly, but I believe it's about 260,000 people in the Tier 1, Tier 2 category.
260,000.
No, 360.
The figure he said escapes me wholeheartedly. are you saying, GD, you have come to the public administrations and appropriations community with the committee without your notes? Is that what you're saying to us? Or was that a blatant lie you just don't know?
460,000.
360.
360,000. Okay, full circle. 360,000. Okay.
But
Approximately.
we're still only talking about housing. We're not getting into like farming and
No,
No.
so I'm speaking specifically to dwellings.
Dwelling.
And the persons affected by that.
All right. Approximately how many of those have not been assisted in any way to this point?
Based on what I'm tracking has been our delivery cycle into these communities.
Yes.
I'm tracking upwards of 400,000 persons affected by solely the JDF input or output rather in terms of last mile deliveries. I am not at this moment tracking persons who are in need unaffected. I've seen reports. So for example, even sitting here since evening, I've gotten a report for a particular community where it was said it has not.
You see why I tell you we have to listen to these people? This man don't have a clue, you know, Jamaica. This man has not got a clue.
Been visited since the event. And when I reached into the team, there were 4 occasions, to include yesterday, that the broad community was visited. So there could exist some gaps, as you mentioned, the SDC community boundaries versus my lane situation.
Yes.
And there could be a few instances as well within these communities where persons do not attend maybe a particular location within the same community,
Yes.
even in the event that aid is being given out. So we've asked him to look more prescript at that. But
Okay.
as it is now, I'm not tracking that we have not been able to affect every community.
You should have looked at that already and put mechanism in place to deal with it, Mr. Douchebag.
right,
That
so-
ought to. What I say is that we are tracking 182 communities, and by the last count,
Bear with.
we have been into no less than 280 communities.
I understand. But I'm saying how many of the 360,000 people that we would say major impact would you estimate have not received any assistance? Or we can ask, how many packages have you distributed from the government side thus far?
said 400,000, right?
No,
360,000.
packages.
No, packages, you said.
Packages. I'm tracking over 115,000 packages. From the government
115,000
side.
packages.
Yes, please.
So it is fair to say, therefore, that if we should say every package goes to a different person, that we still have, is it 115,000?
115,000.
115 or 250?
If you times that by 4, you're almost at 460 thereabout.
Sorry?
If you times it by 4,
He's assuming that each package serves a family of
a
4.
4. That's
Oh,
how
a
in the
package
main the
serves
packages
a
are
family
designed.
of 4.
Indeed.
So based on the package,
What about if the family bigger than 4?
Almost every family have gotten a package.
But Jamaica is not a country that have much of a family of 4. A lot of Jamaica have big families. A lot of our families are big families. Isn't it?
By those numbers, not
By
by
every
us.
house.
Are we going to the nuclear family now? Mother, father, and 2 children? Because they are using the nuclear family approach. They're not using the approach where we know family structure in a Jamaica. Say all dozen now we live in a one house. Would you be giving that household 3 packages? I'm just asking.
By
Every
raw
household
numbers.
By raw numbers.
Yes. All right. And what is the desired rotation? Because it's food. Food don't have one off. What's the desired rotation of distribution? I mean, in a week, how many times should a family receive a package?
As we're building system out now, we intend that on the resupply. So every 5 days, then, or every 4 days, we try to get back into that space.
Every 5
that is the ideal rotation to make a mechanism that fluid. But we are also aware we have significant partners on the ground who are delivering into these communities. So the gaps are, as they exist, fairly well plugged by other non-GOJ assets.
Well, the reports, especially in social media, seem to suggest that a vast number of persons have not been touched, while others might have been touched on multiple occasions.
We've seen those reports. There is significant effort to ensure more, equitably as best we can distribute. But what I'll say, in the instances where the NEOC has received these reports or seen them online, we actually seek to verify in a number of cases, is this the case? So for example, the matter I mentioned just a while ago, we would have been able to verify that we've been in on multiple occasions in different locations within that community.
Welcome to the life of an MP.
I won't hazard mischief, but we do seek to verify whenever we see these cases come up.
Okay. As it relates to separating children, has there been consideration given to a child space in these areas? I don't want to say school because people believe it, if it's not a building, it's not a school. So as to have differentiated treatment for children so that they can get food, so that they can get sanitary facilities, temporary showers, medical intervention, psychological intervention.
So you're speaking to shelters or communities?
Either way, even in the shelters, differentiated children's spaces are not permanent, but important, like going to a space that they don't be out-muscled by the adults, etc. Have you considered those differentiated children's spaces?
Well, what I say is that we will definitely need to look more robustly at that. What I can say is that to the extent that we have caused, for example,
Pamela, I allude to the same thing the other day of the census list, which might not be updated. But what the population census, because I've worked on population census in the United Kingdom with the Office of National Statistics. What a population census does, it gives the government a grand old idea when it comes to disbursement of resources to communities. But then people that don't have no understanding administratively or operationally. Administratively or operationally, or people are numbskull, they are reactive people. They are not proactive. Them not put in preventative mechanism for buttress with system. They wait until the thing happen and then they react. This is, if you listen to these people, this is a reactive government. They put nothing preventative in the system. They only wait and then react.
The Ministry of Health to go in. They have been looking prescriptively at how they've been treating children, looking at psychosocial matters as well.
Even if the population census is not updated, it gives you an idea of family demography within communities, how big a family is within communities. So when you narrow down every community and every household to the nuclear family of a mother, father, and 2 children, a lot of people get left out. And with a 5-day rotation, that's scarce resources. I don't think they understand it to be so, though.
But we'll definitely have to seek to form a more robust system around just what you've mentioned.
Thank you. How many generators do we have intending to distribute to these commercial spaces?
What I will say is that we have just over 500 generators on hand. As we look at how to build out the program, then we'll make a determination on the numbers we actually.
You will hear later from the Prime Minister.
Reports I'm receiving is a generator can run you about $6,000 per day in fuel. How would this be paid for?
Well, we're also looking into the the fuel supply in terms of supplying jerry cans and so on. It isn't my own experience, and that it cost about $6,000, but the mechanisms are being explored.
Well, it depends on the size of the generator.
And how long you're running it for.
And how long you're
a
running it
shop
for.
with a fridge would have to keep the generator
But
sustained.
I'm not from the impression I'm getting is that they're not going to fuel the generators. They're just going to, apart from the government
Provision and the bottles for it.
right, apart from the government entities like schools or police stations or whatever, they're just providing the generators.
Yes,
as far as the business,
I have
not the
no-
fuel.
I've come to accept that, but I'm also suggesting that if you look at, let's say, 3,000 a day, we're looking at $90,000 for the month. Small shops are incapable to afford that. It might be passed on in food prices and by extension make the thing unaffordable. These are things we have to be preemptive in considering. How are we seeking to choose these entities that will be centralized and given a competitive advantage?
Well, what I indicate at this point, member, is that the system is being looked at keenly to ensure the best use case.
Everything where Damien asks, the system is being looked at. It's been considered.
Scenario for rebuilding the economy. So the measures we put in and applied, it is being looked at.
Finally, anecdotal information that we have received is that persons are unwilling to leave the grime and the muck of their space because of no legitimate paper of ownership. Meaning a man don't want to leave the community and come back, somebody take where his house was. Is there any consideration of a temporary registration so a person can indicate from a geotag that this was the space that I was, increasing the probability that they would not stay on spot if we need to move them temporarily?
To the extent that we'll have to move persons around, member, then that is a part of the consideration in terms of
Only been
reducing
considered.
information into our systems to ensure that whenever persons are need to move back or they move out, we know exactly
Yes.
where they came from and what they.
In consideration, should I lean it to the legal term? But it is not something that you're actively doing. You're only possibly thinking about it or having a conversation about it. You're giving consideration to it. You're just thinking about it. It's not that you're proactively putting measures in place. You just have to think about it. Not necessarily mean it's going to happen.
Might have been laying claim to.
Yes.
In the case where they can't provide ready evidence of
Ownership. But with the increases in cases of leptospirosis, etc., and the assumption, especially among our children, that gastroenteritis and all of that, because of the space, will be increasing. Is that a priority to move these persons out of the spaces until we can sanitize and clean?
It never sweat yesterday. Look like they had they must have air conditioning in a parliament. Because the way how it came unprepared, particularly for Damian Crawford's question. I'm surprised they never sweat.
These spaces, meaning to temporary shelter, tent cities, etc.
That too, members, we looked at into how we can achieve it, given the significant speed.
Looked at as to how we can achieve it. The poor guy is out of his depth. But you can understand, the poor guy has been thrown into the deep end after the disaster. He's catching up. Me can't beat him too hard. Literally. Anybody gets thrown into the deep end, you would be struggling to keep your nose above the water. It is what the poor guy is doing. I can't be too hard on him, can I?
Case of damage. So it is being actively looked at.
If you may allow me, Chairman, is there any strategy or method that individuals that want to share ideas and opinion can do so with the committees?
Workshop.
Well, at the moment, what I said, there's no established one, but having had the question now, I'll see to ensure we have something in place in short order for that to occur. But outside of
Related
sending
to
an
that
email
question.
or so on.
Is there a point of contact with either ODPEM or the JDF that if MP Burchell up in South St. James wants to bring something urgently to the attention of ODPEM, some community, some families, some whatever, is there a point of contact that MPs have in their respective
Or any
parishes
individual,
or nationally?
any individual. Any individual can have an idea.
Individual. So
Anybody can think of something and say, we want to share. How do we share it?
No, right, but I was going more specifically
specific,
now
yes.
for MPs in terms of not sharing ideas so much as sharing information.
I will offer up the Data Journal at odpem.org.gm email for that general purpose.
But you would accept that that will be inundated with a whole heap of messages that you might not be able to prioritize.
Just as per, no, so that email is a very general inbox email.
Right.
That's not my personal email. But then we'll have to seek to use another instrument type as well. So we look at
The
dedicated lines for that.
The churches are the most geographically dispersed unit available to the society and one of the most trusted as well. Is the church on the committee, and are we thinking of using the church for our distribution centers and even our electricity centers as well, those that remain standing?
Well, had a question? Oh, sorry. So in terms of on committees of council, ADRA, which is the Seventh-day Adventist organization, is on committee.
What's ADRA? What's that?
Seventh-day Adventist
Relief
organization agency rather.
But you have a way broader network like the umbrella group of churches or the Jamaica Council of Churches.
No,
but
they're not on committee as it is now. But nothing, we could always engraft them into it.
Right.
Nothing prevents us from doing it.
I'm just speaking to the relationships that they have had with communities and the disbursement that they
can bring.
Yes, that they can bring. Is there a reason why the Adventist was chosen separate from
No,
other
and you
churches?
said they're on the council. What council are you talking about?
Committee. So they're on the Humanitarian Assistance Committee that treats with, after the event, looking at, where we should be delivering aid to, assessments of damages and so on.
Is there a reason why the Adventist was chosen over the Catholic, the Pentecostal, the Baptist?
I couldn't hazard to say at this time. But they do have an organization within them that is peculiar to relief in times like this.
I'll consult with the Baptist to see if they have one. But no, I don't understand the choice, but it is what it is. We understand 6 months might be a period for some of these most affected committees, the electricity. Is there any system for medication, in particular storage, that is in place, especially for persons, diabetes, whatever the medicine that need to be refrigerated? A lot of people would have that difficulty now. Is there any strategy system? I know we have a generator system for the electricity. Is there, and the businesses, would they be asked to host as well for the people? Is there any system for cold storage medication that we are contemplating?
So what?
Mazat Control, understanding what is going on here will help us to understand why we are creeping so slow in the relief and recovery, and why we are not getting anywhere, and how the people of Jamaica across the country, particularly in the worst hit zone, will have to pick up a lot of the pieces for themselves. It is for us to understand the people who we choose to manage the affairs of our country.
Well, not specific to cold storage mechanism.
It's cold chain. Cold chain is the pharmaceutical term. It needs to be refrigerated.
Yes.
Okay. Well, a part of the remit that we've had now is to the extent that there are other government institutions, which would include clinics and so on, police stations, fire, JFB locations, a part of our strategy is to bring those up and give them the ability to treat with having some power at their locations. I would have to probably have some further deeper conversation with the Minister of Health and Wellness, but to the extent that we have been getting the ask to ensure that the local clinics and so on are provided with some form of power that they can treat with, for example, refrigeration, we have been trying to seek to satisfy those requirements.
But the
It
medicine being
is
being
very
take
important
home,
for diabetics.
Well,
Most of the insulin has to be kept
Yes,
on.
kept on the
the
fridge.
medicine being take home as well though needs some form of home storage. Have we considered ice distribution with small igloos for these persons or any other systems such as those?
We will look at those.
Thank you very much.
I think my members must be exhausted if they.
The poor guy is clueless. Clueless. Out of his depth. We have a lot from the Prime Minister this morning. Let's go to the generator explanation from the PM. PM. Generators. The generators. Call Romeoch. Romeoch, line up after the generator because we want to know what's the agenda. And we want to know why just you out of everybody we are do. Line him up for we then. And line up Romeoch for we. Tell him come behind Andrew Owners because all of them look like they're behind one another at the moment, right? You know. All of them look like they're behind one another, side of one another. Tell Romeoch to line up behind the Prime Minister, please.
Deliberately trying to confuse. And let me explain in excruciating detail. Are deliberately trying to confuse. And let me explain in excruciating details. There are 900,000 Jamaicans
Look at the anger
impacted.
face.
150,000 houses. So far, Minister, you can recall how many general.
Their body language and facial expression tells you when they comes to the bully podium in anger, in rage.
Generators we have gotten. It's less than 1,000. 500. Now all of the smart people who are talking about how we use the generators. How do I decide who gets out of the 900,000 people who could claim 500 generators? I keep saying to people, do not listen to the mischief and nonsense.
So if Belgium send 400, the rest of people them just send little each because them say about 500 and add them have. Under 560, I think him said.
And as your Prime Minister, my job is to make sure that you have the information. You can do with it what you want, but the record must be there. So that those who are vested in mischief,
like me,
who carry information falsely with malice,
I would not like you.
that you can counter them.
Yeah. What else?
So a lot of the nonsense you hear, you can dismiss it.
Yeah, we lead on the
500, less than 560 generators so far. None of those generators will be used in the program I just mentioned, which is to provide a loan or a grant to businesses that we're trying to stand up to ensure that the private sector supply chain starts to operate.
The private sector supply chain, Prime Minister. What happened to them people that bankroll? What happened to the amount where them put them foot pan when they can suck out away all these years? You mean to say them people that can't get themselves back on their foot with a Starlink and a generator jankro? Why should we be giving generator and Starlink to the private sector? Why they can't buy it? Why private sector will make profit off of it every day and have then something that has backup for themselves, given the zone where we live in? Huh? Why you don't think about all those people who are diabetes and need to have some cooling system for them insulin or whatever? Why you never think about why we have no? I agree with the police station and the fire station and hospital and so on, get it? But why these businesses who do business for a profit, where are their profit, Prime Minister? Ask them, Mister, when you give them the generator, tell them say global ask. What have they done with their profit that they have squeezed out of us over the years?
All of the generators that we have been given through private donations or through bilaterally from other states will be used to build resilience in the public operations. In that way, we guarantee that the benefit of the 500 is multiplied to benefit everyone. So what we have done, we have said that we're going to give the generators and other such items that build resilience, we're going to give them to our police stations that now don't have. So out of this, what?
It is a shame, though, Prime Minister, that critical areas like our police station did not have such a backup system. What a disgrace. I mean, Melissa, expose us, you remember the Gleaner article, the Gleaner editorial that they wrote and throw you up against the wall and tell you how, Melissa, unexpose the soft underbelly of our country, that which you have helped to destroy over the last 10 years, how you diminish ADPEM to the fact where ADPEM just amongst fire superior, so right? ADPEM is like tenement yard, Prime Minister.
We intend to do
tenement yard that lead us out of destruction. Can you imagine?
Is to ensure that every police station that is built or under construction now, or that currently exists, we're going to make sure that they have a generator. But it's not just giving them. They will have to provide us with a system of maintaining it so that when this generator goes, it is replaced. So that we can now say, when we are hit by another disaster, our police stations have backup capabilities. If you go into any of the communities that have been badly hit, where are people gathering to get their phones charged and to get communications? They are going to either the police station, the municipal office, the fire brigade. So we're going to provide as many of these generators, providing they meet the required specs to these operations, to the emergency services and the critical services. And that's
now the people get what you say about that. We're going to move on to you and Romeoch now. Because we don't know, look like a Romeoch wanna do. Of all the people we do, it look like a Romeoch wanna do. You couldn't recognize somebody else, Andrew Holness? Me not think.
And indeed the wider Jamaica.
Romeoch will leech off at the back of the entertainment community is the sole representation of the entertainment community, given how the entertainment community, Prime Minister, have rolled out in the relief effort. And then we're going to go to Angel afterward, go ask Darrell Vaz and Toll Authority, how this go can never so no say. But why is Romeoch being lauded and celebratized by the Prime Minister as if a Romeoch won assist Jamaicans? Don't get it twisted. I'm not attacking Romeoch here. Romeoch is doing a great job. But on a Romeoch one, on a Romeoch one, Romeoch is not the entertainment industry. As far as I'm concerned, he just leeches off them. Listen to the Prime Minister. You sit down and you have a sit down with Romeoch the other day and you edit it and you put it out. And then now yesterday now you invite him to press conference. It's not Romeoch alone, Prime Minister. You could have recognized what happened to Spice, what happened to Shaggy, what happened to everybody. Look how much of them out there doing good, Prime Minister. And when you talk all the while, it's just Romeoch. What is it? What is it, Prime Minister?
And indeed the wider Jamaica. In the initial phase of the disaster, you would have seen an influx of NGOs, concerned persons, concerned Jamaicans coming in to give. You see it all on social media, everybody handing out packages and so forth. In another couple of days, you're going to see that dry up. Some are going to return. That they have been here so long is quite exceptional. Some do have staying power. They will stay with us for a little longer, but it is going to taper off, and which is why the government had to strategically build out a system that could endure and last and be able to continue to deliver, even when private and NGO philanthropy dries up. So, we are very appreciative of everything that has been donated and given so far, and at this point I'd acknowledge Romeoch and indeed the wider entertainment community that has come out and given. I think they should be commended and lauded, and indeed I'm encouraging them to continue as long as possible to...
Why though, Prime Minister? Why you never bring Spice, Shaggy, Sean Paul, Massacre, you name all the plethora of entertainers that have come out to serve Jamaica, the plethora of entertainers that have come out to stand up for Jamaica, Bujo, Beanie Man, Bounty, everybody, Prime Minister, and you're only catering to Romeoch alone because you had a sit down with him the other day that you couldn't invite somebody else to the press conference. You couldn't make another high-profile Jamaican feel like them and do well as well. Romeoch is not the only high-profile Jamaican that is doing this. I'm not attacking Romeoch. I'm asking the Prime Minister why assuming a targeted recognition of Romeoch as opposed to others in the entertainment industry who's doing. And Prime Minister uses Spice. Let me go to Spice, Prime Minister. Hold on there.
To give, it's necessary and well respected and appreciated. But we also know that, as in any disaster, after a while that dries up and the state has to have a standing facility to continue to provide the service. So it's necessary that we start that transitioning in anticipation of what is going to happen. And to facilitate that further, we're going to eventually move away from the distribution of packages to, first of all, a coupon or a card system. Once we get the shops and stores up and running, and then eventually that will be rolled into an augmented path program where persons who are in need of this kind of relief over an extended period of time can be supported seamlessly. All right, so we are trying to return to normalcy as quickly as possible. For that to happen,
you have to come a party call up and party before you can talk about turn to normalcy, John Crow.
We need to support businesses. And what is the purpose of a business? Purpose of a business is to make a profit.
That's what Melissa is all about. Making a profit.
So government has to be very careful in how it supports business. Yes, there may be times when government gives a grant and there are considerations as to how we can help. I know the DBJ is considering how we can help businesses get back on their feet and go.
Leave him and the rich people them. Let's go to Spice. Since as a Romeoch one you can recognize. Since as a Romeoch one I do fine. Let's go to Spice.
Look, side, skip to the left, that them on the right. Look.
That is the music of Grammy Award nominated Spice. The Jamaican-born artist is known around the world as the Queen of Dancehall, and her songs have been streamed hundreds of millions of times. She's got millions of followers on social media after her home country got walloped by Hurricane Melissa last month. Spice organized relief efforts through her Grace Hamilton Foundation, giving people care packages and clothing. She also rented 10 trucks filled with materials to help rebuild dozens of homes in the hardest hit areas.
One of the trucks that you've seen with the block, the cement, the steel.
Prime Minister, this is something to recognize. Spice is not just feeding people. Spice is building back home and lives, Prime Minister. I mean, recognize them too, man. We don't know if Romeoch give out for him, sending them, Dana sending them, or international relief effort given by you. We don't know. We don't know what's the hug up in. We don't know what's the hug up in between you and Romeoch, but I'm just saying, Prime Minister, Spice, Shaggy, Bojo, Beanie, Bunty, Massacre, Sean Paul, and everybody out there do so well. Why just so Romeoch? Andrea, how you do? Why so Romeoch?
The zinc, the tool before, the plyboard, to start at their foundation. So let them see, show them where the empty land was, where the foundation, where the house was. So this is what is left from Hurricane Melissa. And it's a large family that used to be here that lost their home.
Spice joins me now from Miami, Florida. Spice, whose real name is Grace Hamilton. That's where the Grace Hamilton Foundation comes from. First off, thank you so much for all that you've done on the ground.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
So for people that haven't been there, describe what it's like right now on the streets of Jamaica.
It's devastating for me. The first time I went to Jamaica, I cried. Just knowing the lush greenery that used to be home, the tropical beaches, the trees that is now falling to the ground, the light posts, like half of the island is still without electricity. And just to explain to you, Jamaicans are a group of people that they're very prideful. So when I went, especially to the country areas, and I was giving out the relief packages to see how they were eager to just get food and water, it broke me into a million pieces just to see my home country in such a devastating state. So for me, I feel like one of the driving past, I kept asking, why are the trees like that? Who cut the trees? Because it's like the trees were just broken, torn up. It's really bad. People are homeless right now. A lot of people lost their home. Like, people are just sleeping outside. It's really hard to witness my people going through what they're going through right now. It's extremely bad.
So talk about your decision to step up and some of what you've done now on the ground.
Most people know me. I have a foundation called the Grace Hamilton Women Empowerment Foundation. I started that in 2018. I too was once homeless, and so my slogan is from homeless to greatness. So because I know what it feels like to not have anywhere to sleep, I really just jumped at the thought of, okay, it's okay to give food and everything, but there's children right now that is homeless. So the first I came together with my team and I wanted to donate building supplies so that people who lost their homes can start a foundation just to restore their hope, because a lot of these families have built their homes for years. It took them years to really accomplish these homes. And so I know for a fact that a lot of people just feel hopeless. So I wanted us to give them back hope. And so I went down, I rented like 10 trucks and I brought like building supplies with blocks and steel and cements and zinc and anything that I could find that would give them hope that they could build back their house and start. So I have this thing right now with my foundation where I'm saying we're building back Jamaica one house at a time.
Well, we've been looking at some video of people's just giant smiles when you arrive and giant hugs for you. Talk about what it feels like to feel that love back and to watch people feel hope for the first time in a long time.
Well, you know, think about these people who got cut off from society. A lot of them couldn't talk to their family. The trees blocked the roads. You know, most of the supermarket that they had with food and stuff was shattered. The hospitals are damaged. The airport, most of the places. And so they haven't seen people, you know, for a while. So when a lot of artists, just like myself, you know, started to come together and push through to go up there to see them, that's the joy that they feel like, you know, we remember them. We are here with them. It's just telling them that, listen, together we're stronger. We're going to do this together. We're going to build back Jamaica, you know. So it was just that rush of hope, a sense of hope. And just to see someone of my caliber coming to them, just to hug them. Sometimes a hug goes a long way. So to everyone that has been praying for my country, I really appreciate it a lot. And I would encourage people to continue to help Jamaica. There's so many different links. So many people have stepped up to help. So I feel like that just gives them hope and put a smile on their face because they know that we're in this together.
And they feel seen. You can see it on their faces that they feel seen by you. So people that are watching this right now from all over the world that say, I want to help, what's the best thing they can do to help? Where's the greatest need?
The best thing they can do to help, in Jamaica, we have a term that say, every mickle make a muckle and one cocoa full basket. So it doesn't matter how small it is, even if it's just a prayer, Jamaica needs it. But if they have food supplies, if they have tarpaulin, if they have clothing, because, you know, a lot of these people, they don't have nothing. So think about someone who literally have nothing. You can donate as little bit as just, you know, food supplies, clothes. My foundation is donating buildings because, again, I know that these people need the houses. And if they want to donate, my foundation is the Grace Hamilton Foundation. They can follow us on social media. The information is there on my page at Spice Official, which is my page. I keep posting, you know, ways that they can donate. The government in Jamaica also have a website if they want to go to the government websites official. So many other artists and people have so many ways to donate in Jamaica. But what I can tell you, if you want to help as little as it is, Jamaica, they will really appreciate it. You can help in whatever way you can.
Well, Spice, I got to say, I love the beats of your music. It's so fun to dance to. And as great as you are as an artist, you're clearly even better as a human being. Thank you for stepping up when people really need you.
Thank you so much. I respect that. Thank you so much.
Prime Minister, that was an amazing effort. Something that you could have recognized as well. If you have seen what Romeoch have done, Shaggy was one of the first to get to St. Elizabeth before many of you all. While you all were flying over, Shaggy was making his way through the debris to St. Elizabeth, Prime Minister. I'm just saying you can recognize them as well. Let's go back to the Prime Minister and JDF. When I got tired this man. When I got tired, see him face. Should we go to JDF for assessment? JDF and assessment is important to listen. Let's listen to JDF first. And then we'll go to assessment. But you can't get him out of the race. Oh, Lord.
If we use an analogy of the body, ADPEM would be the brain of the operation. Or let's put it this way.
Whoa, Birdo, somebody run, come hold me. ADPEM, the brain of the operation. But when there's nothing in the brain, Prime Minister, nothing else won't function, you know. Maybe so. That is the Prime Minister. ADPEM is the brain. You see why not now function, Prime Minister? Prime Minister, have you seen the lack of functionality of ADPEM? The disarrayment of ADPEM, the restructuring of ADPEM, the restaffing of ADPEM, the brain of the whole what's it? Jamaica. This is a long shot, you know. This is equation long division. And all of the algebra them what me can do, because me can't go further than 10. So working out where going here, so and an easy task for somebody like me we can count past 10. Because I know after me say 10, me get confused. And this year turning along division.
If we use an analogy of the body, ADPEM would be the brain of the operation.
Oh, but they go through it.
Or let's put it this way, ADPEM is the eyes and ears.
The one can't go through it at this point in life.
But the hands and legs would be the JDF. They do the logistics. In the initial phase of the response,
when the questions come, you will understand why I'm advancing this depressive argument this morning, because I have questions to ask, you see. But I cannot just ask the question, can we have Yamhead, please? The stage have to be set before you ask the question, so you don't become confused if I say, can we get Yamhead, please?
the JDF flew 600 hours of missions, 193 missions, and that would include search and rescue, medevac, delivery of aid, all kinds of operations. Just to say that I don't think the JDF gets all the recognition it deserves, and the
facial expression, he doesn't mean a thing he's saying, not a word. I can tell you that much.
Value of the service they give. I tell the story of a frantic call being made to me. I received it, and on the end of the line was MP James Robertson saying to me that there is a man stuck in the middle of a river, and he's apparently been there for a few days. His legs, one of his leg appeared to be broken, and he's not moving. We had to get proper coordinates, and the JDF flew and rescued him. That, of course, didn't make the news. That's one of many rescues that were done. So the JDF plays a very critical role in giving the capability to the plans that the government lays. Now, just to say, the JDF has just under 8,000 members. And it has deployed more than 2,000 in the direct operations of the disaster relief.
We get to where we want to get. The JDF, said the Prime Minister, has just under 8,000 personnel And in the immediate aftermath, just over 2,000 JDF members were deployed into the immediate disaster zones. My question is, Prime Minister, why 2,000? Given the magnitude of such unprecedented devastation, people cut off, people trapped, people this, people that, why only 2,000 between St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Anne's, St. James? 2,000 deployment, Prime Minister. Why wasn't the whole Jamaican Defense Force activated? We don't go and fight war unless America or Britain borrow you to go and fight their war for them. Why wasn't the full JDF activated? Or at least, Prime Minister, Westmoreland under wildfire. Tell them that they're not done with it. St. Elizabeth, watch out. Then soon light Maros up there. Parity. Then soon light the Maros, them careful and say a wildfire. Let's round off the JDF to 7,000. What happened to the other 5,000 where you never deploy, Prime Minister? You deployed just over 2,000. It could just 2001. Over 2,000 could just be 2001, 2010, 2005. Why, though, wasn't the entire JDF fleet activated? God Almighty. So when we are caught, because even when they go along, after the storm, one of my cousins, who is a JDF personnel from Black River, he was there because sometimes they come home, say a few days or whatever. But he went back on the time that he should have went back. And I was saying, why isn't it that the Prime Minister recall all JDF personnel who is on leave, who is on unless you're on sick leave, then you all should be recalled. But if it is to come and pint up gun in our face, then did it. And the worst disaster we've experienced, the Prime Minister think just over 2,000 deployment of the JDF was enough? Was that adequate enough in your view, Prime Minister? Given what you have flown over the country the day after, on Wednesday the 29th, when you flew to St. Elizabeth, you flew by Westmoreland, though you didn't stop, and went to St. James. You think that just over 2,000 deployment was adequate enough, given where we where we need all capable hands? Why you never deploy 5,000, Prime Minister, and leave back 2,000 for rotation or for other purposes? Because he's given I want you to listen to the excuse that the Prime Minister is giving here.
Aside from the missions to deliver by air and by sea, by the way, because they have done delivery of packages by the Coast Guard, over 10,000 packages they have delivered. In addition to that, they manage the stores of some of ODPEM's donations and others.
How much soldier you need for turn up out one store, sir? Sir, how much tight uniform soldier? Well, some of them they ain't gun bigger than them. How much of them you need for turn up out of one ODPEM warehouse, sir? And say they always a pint gun in our face, so we not go near them.
That are given into the general donation pool. They do the packaging. They do the delivery.
Prime Minister, if you all were coordinating and if you all were using common sense, you should have scooped in volunteers to do the packaging rather than having JDF members doing the packages. Free up JDF members, Prime Minister, so they can go out there and do the rough and tumble that they are trained to do, Prime Minister. What kind of lotion your hand and pack food supplies into a bag? Is that what our JDF personals are meant to be doing in this time when the half of the country lie in ruins, Prime Minister? No, sir. Them are backwards people here. I don't want to take me free advice. Prime Minister, I'm going to give me advice free now. I won't take a cent, I swear to God.
To what we call the hub and spokes. So they have established they have established several centers, several hubs, you would call them, where goods are moved from the main warehouse to those areas, and then they have some additional substations, if you want to call them, where the goods are moved to them and then they move into the community. So they have established an effective supply chain, and they are providing security for the convoys. They are providing security for the communities, and they are actually out there delivering packages. But this cannot continue forever or for much longer.
Well, listen carefully.
We will transition very shortly, and I want to prepare the public for the transition that will happen. The JDF will maintain the hub and spoke operation, that is moving supplies from the main warehouse to the substations all around the country. But it won't be so much a focus on the humanitarian food and care packages. They will have to shift now to the distribution of construction and repair and rebuilding materials. And
no, Prime Minister, this is where things become backward. That's why I say it's important for us to listen to this fool, this overgrown fool. Given, Prime Minister, that we're not a country that have designed shelters. What we use for our shelters are mainly schools, churches, and community centers. Those, Prime Minister, were badly hit. Amid a lot of people became homeless and displaced. Rather than having the Jamaica Defense Force doing these soft jobs, like packing, care package and all of that, and rather than using the JDF to focus on handing out food packages, where is the team of JDF engineers, Prime Minister, that should be busily helping people to get their roofing back on at an earlier stage, to help people who are out in the element now, given that we do not provide any shelter like tent city or so on? It's like everything is backwards. And people are used where they're not supposed to use. Similar to how the Prime Minister cabinet is organized. Inexperienced people in areas where they ought not to be. The thing is not coordinated. What you use the JDF doing right now, you could use volunteers to do that. The packaging, if things coordinate properly, in a constituency, you have an MP and at least 4 or 3 councillors plus 4 or 3 councillors caretaker on the ground with the church, school principals, and all of that. These are how you can organize for when the JDF dropped it off to a designated location. Then the MPs, MP caretaker, councillors, councillor caretaker, church and school administrators, everybody coordinated together and do the distribution on the ground, freeing up the JDF to do the rough and tumble. Jesus. Go on now, what else they have to play? Should we? Oh God, no one lick on with something else, you know. Now make me lick on one more time, no? Beg on one more lick off one of them, my peeps. We can lick on one more time. Just one more. Me now go bother with the debris part. Maybe we wanted that day we will bring the debris. Make me look on one more time. I just one more time for the morning. May I hit you now. All right. After this lick here, may we go on a break. Hey, Jesus. Make a lick on one more time this morning, please. All righty. I have to take a lick one. I have to take one more lick for the road. Take a lick for the road, all right? No, sir. Let me tell you, so we have a lot of analysis of the Prime Minister to do this morning. So, we're gonna take the final lick for the road, all right?
Develop full situational awareness is for them to rapidly scale up their assessment capabilities. And so in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, which already has an assessment core of social workers who are in the field, ADPEM would be more on the technical side of assessment.
Just the last
but
man. Hold on.
They have to be coordinated. What we don't want is to have several assessors in the field going at different times, talking to the same people and getting everything confused. So we want to have one central core of assessors. So community and stakeholder relations assessments are part of government operations. So for example, the SDC would have some capabilities to do assessment. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security have said, the Ministry of Education, the NWA would all have assessment capabilities. The instruction given to ADPEM is to bring all of this together under one umbrella so that we can create a core of assessors that will be out in the field capturing data in a coordinated way. Why is this data important? Well, we need it to be able to determine, for example, what should be the level and scale of reconstruction grants that we give to people. And if we don't know the damage, then we are just randomly selecting a number to determine how much we should give to persons. So we need proper information. And secondly, if we don't actually know where the damage is, then how do we reach the people? And how do we plan proper routes and develop supply chains and so forth? So the data is very important.
You realize that the Prime Minister that is saying this was the very Prime Minister that walked the nooks and crannies of the country a few weeks ago.
So I just wanted to report to the nation that ADPEM is making progress, and the purpose of the data is to improve the efficiency of the service delivery, but also to provide you with the information, verifiable information that you can use to make your own personal decisions about how you respond to the disaster. Shelters. Now, there is no question in my mind that more work needs to be done on the selection.
Yes, Opal, it's in this. It's just before this clip. I never copied that part. Just before this clip, he said, Jamaica have communities that we don't really know about. Jamaica, he says, have communities that we really don't know about. Ask the Prime Minister how that come. He can't elaborate further. But the Prime Minister said Jamaica have community where we don't know about, we don't know by word of mouth, and such like, and such a forth, but you can't find it on map. Go on here, Prime Minister. Hey, a boy a fool, you know. The United Nations tap to right, need to tap right in fuckery and Congo. Kind of when we did dunce. This is not the 70s and 80s when a few of we did know better. All of we know better now. Despite some of we decide not to do better, all of we know better. Talk out of your mouth.
Of shelters. And indeed, we may very well have to consider building shelters that are for that purpose.
Yeah.
Or when we are building community facilities, to build them up to the standards that a shelter would require.
You mean with like bedding areas and so on, you're going to start build school? Prime Minister Guan, Prime Minister this morning, this morning, Prime Minister Guan, where you're going, I got name here?
Because in this disaster, many of the shelters that were prescribed as shelters were destroyed. And so some of the...
Not prescribed as, used as. Prescribed and used is two different things. If it was prescribed as a shelter, it would have mattresses, foods, blanket, all the sanitary convenience, and all the apparatuses. Used as a shelter, and not really a shelter. What we operate in Jamaica is a hangover, Prime Minister, until the storm has passed. We need to stop using this word shelter. A hangover until the storm has passed.
The areas that you're seeing functioning as shelters were never prescribed as shelters. We just had to use them in the immediate passage of the hurricane. So this is something that we will have to consider. We are now at a point in the disaster where we will have to decommission shelters, demobilize the shelters. That creates some challenges, but why do we have to do this? Many, if not all of the shelters now are schools. And we have to get our schools back up for January. So we can't have the shelters, the schools being used as shelters.
Listen carefully.
So what we have done, we have deployed the social workers and assessors from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and from the Ministry of Local Government to go into these shelters. You would have heard that we have maybe just under 1,200 or 1,300 persons still in shelters, to go into these shelters and on a case-by-case basis, assess their needs and make recommendations, or where possible, implement solutions for the decanting of persons from these shelters. And that is underway.
So the Prime Minister is asking the assessors to look at a way, or rather, he says, make recommendation. This is a government that is out of its depth and has no control over anything. A government that is lacking of ideas. Because this government is not coming to us and saying, we have made preparation to decant those who have been made homeless and displaced from the schools into another services we design for shelter, to get our schools opening. Assess, recommend, and prescribe are all sought. This is more than Butu. This is more than Butuism. The Prime Minister don't have a plan. ADPEM don't have a plan how we're going to deal with the homelessness and the displacement of people at the moment. The government does. Jesus. The government doesn't have a plan. The Fields Hospital, Prime Minister, that we got in COVID, did we use them at Cornwall Regional? If not, can those hospitals be marshaled to house people who we have to decant from the schools to get schools up and running for January? Because I'm not hearing any plans from the government. Either we're going to make one or two family, take who they can take. I don't know. I don't understand anymore. The weather too cold now for me think, because my knee start paining, my ankle start paining, all of my arthritis are paining me right now. Me can't even go to the door, Prime Minister. So my arthritis and the cold don't work together. Nothing at all. No plan. Oh, we're going to get through this without a plan. Oh, we're going to get through this without people who are able to think. And they're not able to think, and they're not taking advice, and they're not coordinating with the rest of us who put all our head together. We make it work, we out of it. But when the government has a hegemon over the relief and recovery, and they are unable to think their way out of the rubble that the country has fallen into, where we are going to go? We don't know. Does anyone know where we're going and how we're going to get out of this? Because this government is scooping the money and the resources from the international committee and everybody. How much, though, of the help we're getting on the ground is a question that the people on the ground regularly answers. We're not seeing none of them round here. Because Mark Golden and Andrew Holness closed Parliament and said the business of the nation is not really important at the moment. Kicking a ball from one direction to another, men jumping on each other's back and hugging each other in a celebratory mood because we are the better rampers. It is what was prioritized over the worst of our nation's history and business. I want to thank you all for being here with us this morning on Global TV. Sorry to bring such a depressing much of Andrew Holness to you. But as I say, hey, Angel, where is Angel? How can we go without Angel? Where is Angel? Where is Angel? Where is Angel? Ooh la la la, where is it? Did I not put Angel in my studio? Bear with. Darrell Vaz. Angel want explanation. Darrell Vaz. And all of us. We want to know how it got Darrell Vaz. We don't know if Robbie Arab fan we figure pay about Bojo where your teeth from Bojo. And if you know the four something to them Darrell Vaz. What the thing of them the name? The 440-foot container steel food. Darrell Vaz. The 440-foot container a steel food. The overnight task what we give you in a Darrell Vaz. The overnight task what we give.
To right now.
Minister with the little girl in the white uniform. When you say you're not thank me this morning, come and torture you. Jesus! The Prime Minister tortured me yesterday, love. Torture me bad, bad, bad. Come here, have to listen to the whole. And meanwhile, me I listen, I say, backside, me have to screen record a piece and ask him, what is that about? But honestly, the incompetency of our government have been a how you do. Honestly, the incompetency of our government lie bare in front of us. And that was the reason why I asked you the question the other night. If at best, when time is normal, we have a mediocre government, is it not unrealistic for us to expect them to jump to excellency in such an unprecedented moment? I mean, we're making a fool of ourselves. These people, if you put them in a wet paper bag and you give them a fork, they would not even be able to dig themselves out of a wet paper bag. And we are asking them to take Jamaica out of a disaster. Aren't we fooling ourselves?
Tool right now, and remember we were told that when you're going through with relief items, you can write the toll, and you get your authority. I write the toll just like the last time, and then we cover the toll. Them said it's no longer implemented. So whether you go relief stuff or not, you have to pay. No man, see money here, 2,000 something. Me not understand. Give me some clarity, please. The last time when I come to the toll, it was we come to the toll. They said I have to pay. What on this? Daddy, BG, hello. The toll something change up now. Never pay? Hold on, copy vehicle. I have the letter. I just have to pay. We have to pay. Yeah. Oh, you have to talk to her. She said I have to pay. And I have the letter. Yeah. Talk to TT and iPhone. So I must pay. Hold on, no? You sure? Them say letter no letter you have to pay. One, if anything, them have to give back, government have to give back the money. If anything, sport authority, I have to give back the money.
A public inquiry judicially led, Norman.
Authority have to give back the money. Toll authority have to give back the money if anything. She said I have to pay. I don't understand this. So relief items have to pay now.
Okay.
Oh, no, give me some clarity, please. Toll authority, no, give me some clarity, please. No, give me some, because I'll be down here a lot. So just give me some clarity what really I go on. That's all me I ask for. Thank you. No.
You never remember Angel when me I name up the whole of the name of the people them. But Angel make me answer you. Make me answer you. Them broke. Bro, okay, broke. Them broke like a coat. What they are doing, darling? Them a collect every 2 pence. They can't get far away. Ask the people them don't send Elizabeth. Traffic, the traffic enforcers them littered all over. You see like how party people and so on now, them have to go Santa Cruz, go shopping and so on. And not now go on in a Black River. So I feel them taxi them who used to run from Clarity to Black River would have more likely to take them to Santa. They can't do it again. With people them stuck. And then the road, the creek will broke out in the road as well. They have to take the other way around. Whereas we on the seafront there, it used to be a 10 minutes for us into Black River. Now it's a 45 minutes an hour into Black River because we have to go in the other direction with the traffic. Well, we're still living, we understand that. But we don't see no effort and make Flight Green now get the assistant from central government to deal with the rickety-tickety we are going over Southwest St. Elizabeth there because the whole coastline from Black River to Cheddar Beach, that was blast. With everything mash up. The $10 million can't be do nothing in my community. Don't lowered. The video we play one night is where we call lowered. Where you're seeing start from is lowered to what go Johnny Keane. The other side of the coastline of the community is called Windard. It never even go up there. The $10 million cannot deal with the roof and structural damages. Flight Green is sorry for you. Sorry for all I don't know, but me sorry for Flight Green more. Me sorry for all I don't know, but me sorry for Flight Green. Me don't know when I go. Derek Sangster asked the Prime Minister, so we say, Ghana sent some portable hand wash station and portable toilet. In a parity there, we desperately need at least one of each. At least one. We not beg for more. One we do. One. Because we want to prevent a disease outbreak. And our community is organizing a cleanup for the sorry. I got kicked out of the studio without realizing. Sorry about that. Now, I was saying to the Prime Minister, Flight Green and Derek Sangster, the toilets and hand wash station that came from Ghana, we asked you if you could at least loan with one of each, because we're going to have a cleanup day in our community on the 31st on the 30th rather of November. And we're asking, the sound should be back now, everyone. We're asking everyone and anyone who wants to volunteer and come and assist us in our cleanup campaign of our community in Parity, St. Elizabeth. Take a screenshot. The volunteer link is on screen where you can sign up. If you don't want to sign up, I can put you in touch with my community on the ground. This is organized by one of my cousin Myrna Bryan's son. So let's get our country clean up. Let's get our community clean up. I told you that government don't really look upon we too much round a parity there unless they want to vote. A lot will be done to us and those of you across Jamaica and the international community that can assist us. So if you can, come and help us with our cleanup day on the 30th of November. There's debris lying all around us. And at least we want to, despite the missing buildings, the damaged buildings, the roofless buildings in the community, we want to move around in a community with less debris. Thank you all for being here with us this morning. Lovely to have your support. And if you want to join in the cleanup campaign, take a screenshot. The link is on where you can sign up, so they are aware of who is coming to assist them. Or if you want to get in touch with my community to assist, you can get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with my community. Did you notice how the impact of Hog Pen never mentioned a thing about garbage pickup? The Prime Minister dealt with that, you see. But to me never go no more beating for the morning. Me don't want crucifying. The bit when we talk about debris, say, me will leave the debris. The Prime Minister spoke about that bit yesterday in his malarkey, because Mr. Manda in Parliament, he was at the Malarkey with the Prime Minister before he quickly slipped over into the committee meeting. But the Prime Minister spoke about the removal of debris in his brouhaha yesterday. But because I get so much beaten this morning, on a week, no make no sense me lick on anymore. So anyway, if the old blood pressure or whatever allows me, I'll certainly surface back this evening because there's so much to analyze from these people. I want to remember him paid to win the elections for him not care about no, and he knows Jamaica rejects him. May I tell you? Anyway, hit the like button before you go. When I have me cussing on all the while because I'm gonna support my program by hitting the like button. Yes, I saw Conrad the vlogger from down there showing it's on his vlog. Yes. Conrad on this, isn't it? But anyway, my peeps, thank you all for being here this morning. Lovely to have your support. You can even support more by hitting the like button, sharing the program so it gets out there. Thank you. And to my community, hold strong. We have survived, so we will thrive. And we will build back. Thank you and goodbye.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of not they only sit aside a rub and cheat, and not first and for make up what I seen to make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man show and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man show and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. You might go and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing, you might go and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.